This is Leeds Trinity University.
Welcome to the Yorkshire Voice podcast with me, Xiao, and I'm joined by
Mimi Ibrahim
and Jane Gregory.
On today's podcast, we are got stories about a fundraiser to keep a woman's bus running in Leeds, an interview with an inspiring Afghani woman, a Bradford City update, and an exclusive interview with a Bradford Congolese musician. But first, according to new analysis from Customer Magazine Which, many of the cheapest European summer holiday available to book in surprising destinations. Their survey found that the cheapest holiday tends to be located in places people typically perceive as more expensive, such as Italy, Amalfi Coast, or the Great Island. However, traditional low-priced destinations such as Bulgaria and Tokyo did not feature in the 10 cheapest holiday. Our own reporter Mark McEwen interviewed a local travel agent, Tony Mann of Idle Travel in Bradford. Let's give it a listen.
So I've got Tony Mann here on the line of Idle Travel in Bradford. So Tony, what's your first thoughts about this list from which?
Yeah, I suppose at first when I read it, it's quite surprising because the areas that they're talking about traditionally in August would probably come out more than the traditionally cheaper areas of Bulgaria and Turkey. But thinking about that, we sell lots of Bulgaria and Turkey, and I think over the last couple of years, lots of families go. Obviously, this is based in August, and Turkey and Bulgaria have become really popular for families that are looking for large complexes with slides, pools, all inclusive being the top seller. And I think that's possibly down to supply and demand. People, family-wise, have booked Bulgaria and Turkey, which has then pushed the prices up. And then that's actually switched the other way around, that the traditional areas have come down in price. And then areas like Italy, Amalfi Coast and Venetian Riviera, that again would you'd always consider to be a little bit more dearer, is actually topping now the cheapest area. So I suppose that's great value, but I think that's down to probably the family market that's hitting the other areas, really.
So, I mean, Tony, are you surprised that Italy's Amalfi Coast, for example, which is in number 6 in the list, is there?
Yeah, I think I am. Even though we sell lots of family holidays, and obviously couples still go away in August as well, but you always tend to think that when we're looking for holidays for people, that Italy would come out a little bit dearer than your traditional resorts of the Costas possibly. So yeah, absolutely. But as I said, I think that may be down to the strong family market pushing them other areas up, and maybe couples have been maybe a little bit slower to book.
And this is a list, it's actually topped by Kylimnos in Greece, with Malta coming in at number 10. Would you say this reflects Bradfordian tastes in particular for travel?
No, not really. I think if I give you our top 10 list, I can tell you some areas that will definitely be on there. So the Canaries Turkey would be on there without a doubt, and Bulgaria would be on there for the value. But again, if it was selling wise, Tenerife's still a popular island. Lanzarote, Greece for us in the big islands of Rhodes, Crete, and Kos, and then the Balearic Islands. Mallorca's still a really popular, strong area for that time of year, and as I said, that's down to family. So our top 10 selling wouldn't be in actually some of them wouldn't be in our top 10 for August. So
I mean, it would be really quite a different list. I mean, would you think?
Absolutely.
I mean, Tony, would you think any of these locations would be on there? Because I mean, I'm just listening to you say there your locations, and they seem fairly different, really.
Yeah, I'd say probably most of them. Maybe Costa Brava may be in there.
Okay.
That possibly was. But actually, I would say that for August at that point, no, I would say most of them wouldn't be in our list.
And then, Tony, one final question here for you, because I'm sure the listeners are itching to know, where do you go on holiday?
Well, I'm actually about to go to Lanzarote. So in just over 10 days' time.
I take it, Tony. Do you leave from our own Bradford Airport, or?
Absolutely, yeah. I do travel from other airports because that's the nature of the job when I'm working and going away. But I prefer to fly from Leeds Bradford. My local airport is pretty close to me. I'm going to do a thing called twilight check-in, where I can check my bags in the night before. So that means in the morning when I get there with my family, my daughters and my grandkids, it'll be a bit more smoother going through the airport. But yeah, I'll be definitely flying from Leeds Bradford.
Wow, twilight check-in sounds like a pretty positive thing. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, because that's something I think folks would be very interested in. Is that offered in all airports, or is it just a Bradford?
It's offered in quite a few airports with different operators. Look, I'm travelling with Jet2 Holidays, and if you're on a morning flight, depends on the flight time that you're travelling from. So I'm flying at 10:15 in the morning, so I think it's up to 12 o'clock lunchtime. And you've already, as long as you've got checked in, you've got boarding passes, you can do a thing called twilight check-in. So that means I can go up to, I think it's 9 o'clock at night, from 4 till 9, and I can check my bags in. So it depends on the tour operator you're going with, and a couple of different specifications that you need to do, but other tour operators do it, and other airports, depending again on that tour operator. So if you booked, as for instance, through a travel agent, they should always advise you on that. But it's just a good way of getting rid of your bags.
Roger, I mean, anything to make it smoother. Well, thanks so much, Tony. We'll check out now, and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, good to speak to you.
That was Tony Mann of Idle Travel in Bradford.
So where did you like to go on holiday, Mimi?
Hi, Xiao. I'm really looking forward to the summer. This year, I'm thinking about going to Portugal. It's very beautiful. It's also very cheap. But there's so many amazing travel destinations. Last summer, I went to the Amalfi Coast, and it was so beautiful. So I'm surprised that it wasn't higher up on the list, but definitely looking forward to summer this year.
Oh, good. How about you, Jen?
Yeah, well, as Mimi says, there's so many places to choose from. Scarborough, Skeggy. I'll be getting the tent out and camping in Wales, Scotland and England.
Brilliant. Next, we are going to talk about a local fundraiser in Leeds. Women Night Safety Bus are hoping to raise around £100,000 to ensure that the bus can continue as funding is due to run out. Sharina Gobi, Women's Night Safe coordinator, spoke to Yorkshire Voice earlier.
To keep Women's Night Safe space as it is, so in terms of the quality of our really highly skilled staff, in terms of the amount of nights that we can do in a year, and offering exactly the same package that we do at the minute with all the signposting support after, in terms of being able to access, we are seeking overall money, and this isn't just from the public, obviously, like I said, with all the different avenues we're exploring, we are looking to secure £100,000 for a year worth of delivery. And some of the bids that we're putting in bids that might be a big portion of that, and other bids that might be a smaller proportion of that. And the brilliant thing about Women's Night Safe Space is that because it does meet lots of different needs and ambitions that are all tied into ending violence against women and girls in Leeds, and ensuring that women and girls not only are safer, but feel safer and feel more comfortable. And that's why all of the work that we do is massively preventing harm coming to women and girls. And it supports reducing A&E admissions. It supports in the police's relationship with women and girls, with reporting and trust in the police. And all the different ways that we help, we're looking for that £100,000 to be made up from lots of different ways, because we know that we're meeting lots of other people's needs and ambitions to work in partnership.
Our next story is from an event in Bradford. Afghan refugee and human rights activist Nahid Mohammadi was at the Impressions Gallery in Bradford yesterday. Nahid set up an NGO in Afghanistan which provides food, education, and medical assistance to women and children. He fled Afghanistan in August 2021 when the Taliban took over. Her husband was an interpreter from the British Army, which made her family an immediate target. In 2023, Hamdi founded the Afghan Kitchen, a venture of pop-up restaurants that helps fellow Afghan refugees in Yorkshire to access work while offering a taste of Afghan food to local communities. This event is a part of series running alongside an exhibition We Are Here Because You Were that runs at the gallery until the 4th of May. Tanita Sims has more.
So now we are here, we are safe. I can walk to the street and anywhere I want without any problems. So it is really good, and I am really grateful and appreciate the government of UK that really helped us to come here.
Nahid Hamidi came to the UK in 2021 because of the work of her husband as an interpreter.
I leave my country, my homeland, my family, my friends behind, and because of our life was in risk, and we have to take this decision to come to the UK. Leaving behind family is really difficult. Life in Afghanistan is completely different from the life in the UK. I have all my family around in Afghanistan. I have a really good job, good income, a nice man as my husband. I have 2 daughters, and I have all family and friends around. I had a very good position among the people around in my province. It was a really good thing that I can help everybody. When I was working in an organization that I have opportunity to help anybody, I really enjoy when I help people in need. So when I leave my country and come to here, it was difficult for me to receive help from others. I really feel shy when I receive the help from the others, because I used to help everybody in my country. So it was difficult to settle here. It was difficult first when we arrived here in a hotel. We stayed 21 days in a quarantine hotel that was in London, and it was really difficult that we are not allowed to go outside. My daughter called that hotel, still when she's talking about that hotel, she called jail hotel because it looked like a jail, and we are not allowed to go outside. And then we moved to Scarborough. Scarborough is really a nice and beautiful city or place, but it was not good for me, and I really don't want to go back there because all my bad memories there. And every morning when I awake, I receive a bad news from Afghanistan that Taliban took all the things that I have in my organization, in my house, anything. And also when we left Badakhshan to Kabul, they're looking for me when we are not there, and they're looking for us 3 times, come to my house. My neighbor called me and said that they are looking for you in your house, and all the property that I have, they took all. I'm really happy and appreciate from the UK government that they let us to come to this country. We are safe here. My children can go to school. I came to UK, and at first it was really difficult. 1.5 years I was under treatment of mental health because my mental health was really bad, and I can't control myself, and I was shouting at my children and arguing with my husband, and my mental health problem was going to worse and worse day by day. And then after some time, it was difficult, but we tried to settle. We tried to be fine. My children go to school and nursery, and I start working, and I set up my own business, a small business. It's the aim of these businesses just help people, because when I saw my friends from Afghanistan, they can't speak English, and the job center called them and every time and asked them and forced them to start working. So then I thought that why I'm not start working with helping them, and now they are working for me. When they are cooking for me in my pop-up restaurant, I help them. We prepare several kind of foods for them. We introduce our Afghan food to more than 500 people. I'm really appreciate and really thankful from the UK government that they ask us to come in this country. It's difficult to leave behind family and homeland, but it was really a good thing that we came to here, and UK government asked us to come here, and now we can help family behind, and we can send money because Afghanistan there is no work, no job, no income, anything in Afghanistan, and the people, our family really need our support. So now we are here, we are safe. I can walk to the street and anywhere I want without any problems. So it is really good, and I am really grateful and appreciate the government of UK that really help us to come here.
Nahid's told her story to an audience at Impressions Gallery in Bradford.
I think that so many people are not aware of that heartbreaking story and journey that people have to go through to get here, and didn't actually want to leave the home country, but was forced to leave. And I just think some people that have this attitude that asylum seekers and refugees are here to take things is just so untrue. And I just think it'd be great if we could get that message out more.
Oh, it was incredible. It was just so moving. I mean, she was such a brave person. All the things that she spoke about, you've seen on the television, but to hear it come from someone, in person made such a difference, made such an impact.
It was amazing to hear Nahid's story, the passion she spoke with about displacement. My own family was also displaced. The way that she's taken something that inherently is really, really challenging, and she's turned it into a positive, and she's created this legacy for other people. Inspirational, absolutely inspirational. That's the only word I've got.
Immensely moving, really, but also inspiring what one person who has been through trauma beyond our imaginings can do, instead of, as most people would, being buried in her grief and loss. She's turned things around and determined to continue to do what she did in Afghanistan so incredibly inspiringly, but is already turning that around and helping others. It's a real challenge to the rest of us who spend an awful lot of our time grumbling about what's wrong with life and the government and society, but she's used every ounce of her resources and opportunities available to her.
Now for an update on Bradford City. The Bantams face Warsaw in one of the final games of the season this weekend. After Bradford's Daniel Oyakosi came off in their last game against Salford, manager Graham Alexander was happy to see them able to play.
We think they're good to go. We'll just assess just to make sure, but no significant issues from those two guys. So we've got apart from the couple of lads that I mentioned last week that will be missing to the end of the season, everyone else is fit and available.
Tyrick Wright was one of the other players who came off. He has enjoyed the chance to get back playing regular football and get that smile back on his face.
Yeah, 100%. I think I was smiling from the first day I came in, to be honest. And that's all, as a footballer, you just want to be happy. You also want to be comfortable in the environment that you're in as well. And that also helps you on the pitch, which has helped me on the pitch. I think I've been performing well. So, yeah, I've definitely achieved having a smile back on my face.
Fraha Musenzi is a Bradford Congolese musician. She released her new single today, and we are very happy to have her join our podcast. Welcome, Fraha. Let's start by playing your music.
A 1,000 years in your eyes, it's like a day. Grass springs up in the morning, and it's withered by dusk. Teach me to number my days. May my heart grow in wisdom like yours. This earth is temporary. I wanna live fully ready. eternity. Oh, this earth is temporary. I wanna live fully ready. From dust we are formed, to dust we return. We're mere mortals, but you are eternal, and you satisfy with unfailing love from morning to dusk. This earth is temporary. I wanna live fully ready for eternity. For this earth is temporary. I wanna live fully ready. Lord, you have been my dwelling place.
Well, welcome, Faraha. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Jane here.
Hello, Jane. Me.
Yeah, could you talk to us a bit about the inspiration for that piece of music?
Yeah, so I wrote this song about 3 years ago, just after the pandemic, during the pandemic actually, and it was during the time where I was actually in a place of grief. I had just lost like a few really good close friends and family in my life at the time, and I guess I was just in a space where I was really thinking about life and death. And when you lose someone close to you, it really confronts you and makes you think about how fragile life is. And at the time I was really down, but then I remembered just going into my Bible and reading a scripture that really brought me a lot of comfort and made me think of life as a visual person. I was thinking of this thing that life is like a vapor, which is the name of the song. Actually 1 second we're here, our lifetime can feel like such a long time, but in the grand scheme of like eternity, it really is just a moment. And in the song I talk about how my prayer was that God, who I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, would teach me to number my days, to live intentionally each day as if it is my last. And actually that was the inspiration for writing this song, to that the song would comfort people who are grieving, but also make them realize that they do have purpose, even here and now.
Well, thanks for that. I'm aware that in Congo, more than 6 million people have been killed in the conflict over resources. And so when you talk about losing people, I'm wondering if that is something that is, particularly pertinent to you as a Congolese.
Absolutely. I think, from a young age, living and growing up in a war zone, like death is a very, you encounter death at a very young age. And yeah, I think over time, it can make you quite numb. It's the same way that we watch the news and you see, millions of people are dying in Palestine and the war that's going on, in Congo and Sudan and all these other places. And it can just feel like these are numbers, but these are real people. And so I think for me, it's just always, when I think of the context of Congo and where I've grown up and the fact that this is a daily struggle and people are living constantly in a place of grief where they are being traumatized and re-traumatized through what, their surrounding. Yeah, for me, this song is, I think it just brings things into perspective to realize just how blessed we are to live in a place where there is relative peace and comfort, and but also to think about those who might be really struggling, might be in the lowest of the lowest place right now because of, unfortunately, where they're living and the wars that are raging around them, or just even climate change and the effect that that's having in their life, and taking their comforts in their environment.
Well, it's very special that you've turned that trauma and the reality of violence into something so beautiful. It's a very beautiful track, isn't it?
Yeah, I really believe that there is something really powerful that oftentimes in our place of pain comes purpose, and I think there is beauty even in the mourning season, and I think that life is like that. There's joy and there's sorrow, and I think there's a space for us to. It's really important that we lament. I think oftentimes we go through life and we just kind of take things and we don't really process where our emotions are with everything. And when I was thinking about how I wanted to tell this story, I really wanted to strip it back and bring the rawness of just my vocals and guitar so that people can really come on a journey with me as I process my own emotions through the song. But yeah, I think, for me, I believe that like life happens to us, and also God never wastes any pain that we go through, and all things, even the difficult things, beauty can come out of it.
That's lovely. And I really want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Over to you, Xiao.
Thank you. Well, that's all from us today. Join us at the same time on Monday. Thank you for listening.
This is Leeds Trinity University.